The House will come to order.
It was committee deadline week at the House, and committees and divisions labored day and sometimes night in an attempt to get their work done before Friday's midnight deadline. On Monday, the House Education Policy Committee informational hearing drew about 50 testifiers to speak in support of and against House File 874, Representative Hodan Hassan's proposal for a constitutional amendment providing for a fundamental right to quality public education for all children.
We need to fully fund schools. We need to fund full community service schools. We need to fund trauma-informed coaching in our schools. We need to fund Teachers of Color and American Indian Teachers Act. We need and must address housing crisis, wealth inequities, and systemic racism to be able to fully tackle this beast we call opportunity gap.
The question that would be proposed to voters is, shall the Minnesota Constitution be amended to provide that all children have a fundamental right to a quality public education and establish that quality public schools are a paramount duty of the state? Testifiers lined up virtually to speak for and against the proposal.
We know that education has always been the great equalizer. And right now, since everybody's making commitments to ending the egregious racial inequities in the state, why wouldn't we start with what is most important, and that is the future of our children?
The proposed Page amendment raises significant concerns for the NAACP and would divert limited political resources in a direction unlikely to address the immense challenges facing Minnesota schools. There are more reliable ways to address achievement gaps.
On Tuesday, the House Human Services Finance and Policy Committee laid over a proposal that would provide extra cash for some households that have struggled during the pandemic. House File 1785, sponsored by Representative Mahmoud Noor, seeks to provide a one-time payment of up to $500 for families participating in the Minnesota Family Investment Plan, the state's assistance program for low-income families with children.
When we talk about Minnesota Family Investment Program, we're talking about children. We're talking about kids who are living in poverty. Quite frankly, we want to be able to support all families that no one lives in poverty. But because of the COVID-19 pandemic, we have seen how that it has devastated families in need.
The plan is to use $17 million from the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families Fund, a federal block grant program. Representative Tony Albright opined that it would be more helpful for struggling families if the economy opened back up completely.
I think the better way for people to realize a better situation in their life is if we were availing them to get back to work by opening up the economy in a safe manner.
The House Preventative Health Policy Division approved a bill Wednesday that would, in part, hike taxes on a pack of cigarettes by $1.50. Representative Jennifer Schultz sponsors House File 1712, which also seeks to raise rates on cigars and other tobacco-related products.
Commercial tobacco use is one of the most stubborn and costly addictions that we face in Minnesota. Every year, Minnesota loses 6,300 residents and $7 billion to smoking. Over the past few decades, Minnesota has made giant strides toward lowering smoking rates and preventing youth tobacco use. But our work is not over. We need to do more to reduce smoking and youth tobacco use, and this bill will do that, starting with raising the price.
Members voted along party lines to approve the bill as amended. Opponents claim the move would create the highest tax rate on tobacco in the country and could lead to tobacco smuggling.
There is a point where you raise taxes on what is a legal substance, that it creates an underground movement, and even in some cases, crime. I think you see people leaving the state of Minnesota to purchase their tobacco, as was testified. So it gives me pause on this to continue to increase taxes as the only means, or as the primary means of trying to deter.
For a nonpartisan recap of this week's House committee action, check out our Session Daily work at house.mn/sessiondaily.